Go. Welcome to episode 62 of the Switchmania Playcast.
The Brain-isode.
The episode where we discover how old we truly are.
While playing
That's
it
true.
one time for 5 minutes.
That sounds par for the course.
Classics. Oh my. So we're actually recording a few days late. We're going to try to record early and then we record late. Classic four-day weekends. Labor Day weekend's been a fun one, guys.
Goes too fast.
Definitely too fast. And yeah, it's been a wild time with Premium Edition. Just constant movement. Like, I spent an entire day just trying to get the ESRB to cooperate, and I think it took me like half the day to get a video uploaded, and then they're like, hey, can you change this, and this? I'm like, yay. It only took me half the day, but okay. Here you go. So, everybody, the physical production of video games is great. It's great. It's awesome.
Smooth process.
Go wrong.
Yeah, and then we're obviously, like, people don't know this, but when we say that our second release is game in hand, like, literally submitting both games at the same time. So, like, I'm doing 2 of these simultaneously, and that's all in my bucket, because JP is doing, the marketing, Barry's doing the customer service, I'm doing the physical submission process, and it's very patience-inducing. Lots of patience with it. Lots of patience. But anyways, so the Switch Collector is still for sale, as we do with our normal housekeeping. There are only a few copies left, though. Less and less every week, honestly. Like, they've been selling, like, a lot less. And, of course, we appreciate 5-star ratings on Apple Podcasts. Was there any feedback from last week's episode? I know there are a lot of people in chat.
I mean, I didn't see anything on my normal channels. I think maybe, just through when we were streaming it, unless there was something in Discord or Facebook I may have missed.
I didn't say anything outside of just the chat that went live when we were recording.
Yeah.
The chat's crazy. And, of course, you could still record message for the Playcast or for Premium Edition games at anchor.fm/Switchmania. So, I don't think anything happened in the news last week, did it?
Maybe 1 or 2 things.
Yeah, maybe something tiny.
Something tiny.
Small things.
Is this the one thing that we said that if they do it, Barry's going to say that there was no direct? Even that was amazing.
We'll have to see if he counts this.
Do you count this, Barry? Do you count this news as actually Nintendo giving us something now?
Well, yes, of course it's something. It's not a full direct. It's not a full-blown Nintendo Direct. It's a special direct, which is not unprecedented for them. They've had plenty of them. They've had Fire Emblem, and Blade had one, and Pokemon's had them. So this is a Mario Direct, and it's absolutely news. But we still don't know what their A teams are doing.
So my question, though, Barry, is that considering that this was essentially 3 weeks of 3 directs in a row, where you had an indie, a third party, and then a first party, if they had all 3 of these in one giant video, would that count as a direct?
You know what? That probably would count as direct because there was definitely enough content there.
And didn't we say about months ago that Nintendo was going to change how they do all of their releases into more segmented things?
The scary thing that, to me, what strikes me more than the segmented is the fact that that Indie Direct, or not the Indie, the last Partner Direct we had like a 10-hour notification. And for this Partner Direct and this Mario Direct, we had none. It was just a shadow drop. And I'm wondering, is that what they're going to do now? Are they just going to shadow drop directs from now on?
I mean, they're taking inspiration from Premium Edition games doing our direct. Just shadow drop.
Yeah. We are the inspiration for that. I don't know, for better or for worse.
Inspiration for
better.
Nintendo is JP.
I mean, if you think about it, it wasn't even just that they're taking inspiration about shadow drops, but they even make big announcements the same days that we do.
Yeah. Yes,
How
they
crazy.
do. Funny. I think, though, the one thing that a lot of people are just wanting to know is what is Nintendo first party truly working on, because you can't imagine like the Mario Odyssey team is working on this upscale port that they're doing. They have been doing
Spoilers. No.
not spoiler really, but but like we don't know what the main teams are doing, and outside of ports, because that's mainly what we have, we don't know. Breath of the Wild 2 is coming, but we don't know the progress, and I think a lot of people just want to know, hey, what are these main teams working on right now? And obviously Corona has hit them harder than they want to admit, but it'd be really cool just to know what's going on.
So you want more from Nintendo?
I don't at least know what the teams are doing.
I mean, literally, since our Direct, every week there's been a Direct for Nintendo. Started with Premium Edition, and then it went to all indies, and then it went to third parties, and then it went to first parties.
Those aren't all Nintendo stuff though. That the indies and the third parties are outside. Those are going to happen anyways.
Yeah, but they always do that as part of a Direct though. Usually, have pieces of that. Technically, by the normal Nintendo Direct variances, we got more content by them piecemealing it out every week, which I feel is pretty cool. But I think we should have JP lay the wallpaper for what actually happened this week.
Yeah, so two things happened, but let's stick with Super Mario 35.
Yeah.
As Jeff mentioned, every week there has been something, and I even put out a tweet the other day that on August 18th we had the Indie World Showcase, August 26th we had the Partner Showcase, September 3rd we had Mario's 35th Anniversary Direct, and then, of course, you're wondering, are we going to see something again this week? And people are still speculating, as they always do. But with Mario, it was interesting because, it kind of just dropped out of nowhere. It was about, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe 11 to 16 minutes long in content. And they covered a lot of different things. I mean, you've got shoes coming out in honor of Mario. You have a new Game & Watch accessory that has the full, and this is the crazy thing, is that it has the full Mario Brothers from NES, the Lost Levels, and then a version of Ball with Mario. And then it has like 35 features or functionalities, including it being a clock. And I think that was probably one of the big highlights of this Direct, is just this really cool piece of technology. And as you may all know, in the US, it's not up for pre-order because there's some issues with the FCC still and getting it approved. So, we're all waiting to reserve it because, it's going to be this hard-to-get thing probably, whereas in the UK, it's abundantly available through, like, every single retailer. So that was, one item. But to me, I would think the biggest takeaway from this Direct was the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection, which is going to have Super Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy, along with a 175 music track player from all the songs throughout the games that you can listen to at any time you want. But it's crazy because, they dropped this, which we all were thinking it was coming because they had hinted about it before. But not only do they just announce it on the 3rd, it's releasing on the 18th of this month, physically.
Yeah.
So it's about a 2-week window, and they even stated that it's going to be a limited time pre-order through March. And I think they also said for the digital version as well. So I say at this point we should probably talk about what that means in terms of limited, because, a lot of people think differently about it.
Yeah. I mean, Nintendo's like definition of limited is time window based, so they're only going to have it available. It's kind of like the Disney Vault. It's like, oh, well, they're bringing out Bambi out of the Disney Vault, but in reality, we could still get Bambi. Like, you can always get the VHS of Bambi or whatever. So, I mean, it's going to be the same deal where they're going to sell as many copies as they can during this window. It'll be a million seller, and it'll still be limited.
So the crazy thing is, as we were talking now, it just popped up. It's already the second best-selling game of 2020.
Yep.
Wow.
Like, how... I'm trying to find... now I can't find it, but... how insane is that it's been up? I mean, it quickly went to the number one bestseller on, I think, all the Amazons worldwide within a day. And I'm not surprised. I mean, a lot of us grew up with these 3 different iterations of Mario. For some of people, it was the first time they've ever played Mario. So you have a compilation with 3 really solid games. And now they're going to be available on cartridge in one collection at retail. But yeah, it's crazy. Oh yeah, so it says here it's already the second best-selling game of 2020 on Amazon. On Amazon, only behind Animal Crossing. That's crazy.
Insane.
That's crazy.
I mean, the thing is that even if it was quote unquote limited in scope, which it's not going to be, obviously, it's just limited in time when you can buy it at retail. But there's gonna be, as soon as they said that, like, you know that multiple people, stores, etc., bought multiple copies, so it's gonna be available for basically the lifetime of the Switch. It's gonna be just like the Mario 25th anniversary collection that was limited too.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people are like, "This is unprecedented. Why is Nintendo doing this?" And it's not. Nintendo does this with all their anniversaries. The Zelda Collector's Edition was like this on the GameCube. The Mario All Stars on the Wii and the Kirby Dream Collection on the Wii were all like this. The Mario All Stars actually had a cap, and it sold out, if you remember. And they reran it, and that sold out. And then they didn't rerun it till it became a Nintendo Selects at the end of the Wii's life. There's no cap. This is a 6-month window, and so many people are like, "Oh my God, this is going to be super valuable." Like, no, this is going to sell millions in 6 months. This is going to be so readily available.
6 months, it already has.
Already has. I mean, there's going to be so many out there. So this is not going to be one of those, "Oh my God, this is a super rare exclusive title." No, but FOMO is certainly working. People are buying it for that reason. And you know what? Maybe they're smart. Nintendo knows how to drive interest. They, look at the NES Classic and the SNES Classic. No one expected that. Look at Amiibo. They canceled 3 Amiibo after the first shipment. No one expected them to do that. So Nintendo is just king of doing that. And the thing that's great about this game is it covers 3 generations. There were kids that grew up with each of these. There were teenagers that grew up with each of these, and adults that grew up, that were adults when these came out. But there's nostalgia for everybody, regardless, and that's what's so great, and that's why it's selling so well. But for me, my favorite thing about these coming out is not that, cool, I get to replay them, and I do plan to. It's the fact that there are so many people I'm seeing posting that they didn't have a Nintendo until the Switch. They never got to play these. These came out before they were born. They've never had the opportunity, and they're going to be playing these for the first time. And I am so jealous of them, because to play these masterpieces again for the first time is, God, that's going to be awesome. And I'm so happy that more people now get to experience these timeless games and appreciate them for, everything that Nintendo's done with the Mario franchise.
It's crazy too, because I used to play Mario 64 almost like every year or two, kind of like Link to the Past, and I stopped and then once the Switch was announced, anticipation, because there's been a rumor of Mario 64 getting an up-res since the beginning of the Switch, and it really hit traction this year, obviously with all the rumors, but so I stopped doing it. So it's been a few years since I played Mario 64, and so it's going to be great to dive into it in up-resed, beautiful 3D glory on an HD TV. Hopefully it looks great. Nintendo hasn't really ever failed us when it comes to a port. Like, my only complaint with the Mario All-Stars one with the 25th was that it was literally just the Super Nintendo Mario All-Stars. There was no Mario All-Stars, so this is going to be a brand new title regardless, so it's going to be awesome.
I think the biggest complaint with the Wii version was that if they were just going to put a ROM on there, why not at least put the one that includes Mario World, since it already exists? Like, it's just so simple. You don't have to do anything. And I agree, it would have been nice to have Mario World there. And some people speculate, that's because the Wii had the Virtual Console and they didn't want to cannibalize on the Mario World sales. But a lot of people with this, there's some glaring omissions. Mainly, the biggest one is obviously Galaxy 2 is missing. But if you dig a little deeper, there's also the DS version of Mario 64. Why didn't we get that with better controls? Because that had more content. And there's also Mario 3D Land is being omitted completely. That would be cool to get that onto.
What was interesting? You gave me a pretty good segue. So at the end of the Direct, and I'm not skipping ahead, JP. There was a history of Mario, and you mentioned Mario Galaxy 2. So I just was watching and I paid attention. There was only 1 2 game that they showed, which was Super Mario 2. They didn't show Super Mario Land 2, which is like my favorite Mario on the Game Boy. They didn't show Mario Galaxy 2. They didn't show New Super Mario Brothers 2 with the coins. They didn't show any of the 2 games, and I think they purposely did that so we wouldn't pay attention to Galaxy 2, even though everybody's going to focus on it. They didn't. I think they purposely didn't show any of the 2 games, which was so odd, because those are all three. All 3 of those are solid titles.
Oh yeah, I would love to see Mario Lands come back, 1 and 2.
And Wario.
Wario Land is 3. Well, Wario Land is Mario Land 3 in the same vein that Yoshi's Island is Mario World 2.
Yes.
Like, it's title only. That's it.
Yeah, you notice I didn't complain about Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island not being on there because, again, different style.
Right.
Even though Mario Brothers 2 is a different style.
I mean, technically, they did have Super Mario World in there, which is also Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 2.
Right.
Oh, God. But yeah, it was so odd that they left off all the 2 games. I noticed that. I'm like, man, they didn't... Because, I mean, I love Mario Land 2. So they showed Mario Land 1. But in reality, like, all of those games that they showed, like, those types are all in Mario Maker 2. So... really
One thing I'm surprised about is that they had a perfect opportunity to do some kind of special edition, and in no region are we getting something in terms of like a big box with an art book or a history book or anything aside from the game. And to me, I feel once again like this is a missed opportunity because it is Mario. You could have easily thrown in something to make it more of the limited edition type. And
Are you saying
really
that we need a premium deluxe edition of this game?
Of course we do.
Yes. Well,
if you and the listeners don't think that I haven't already asked Nintendo and they haven't given me a no, you'd be crazy because they definitely did not tell me no when I've asked them about first party premium deluxe editions. So ping us and ask Barry questions, because if you do the support at premiumeditiongames.com, Barry will get the questions. Deluxe edition of Zelda Breath of the Wild confirmed.
Devil's advocate, JP. I agree with you. I wish, especially after the Mario 25th on the Wii, that had the art book and the behind the scenes information in that book, all great. I would have loved to have seen at least a little mini art book inside the case. That would be cool. But here's the devil's advocate. Nintendo doesn't need to do that. This is selling millions without it, and it would sell the same amount with it. So, especially with COVID, it's harder to go that extra mile. Why spend that extra money without any extra profit? Because I doubt someone's going to be like, well, I wanted this game, but it didn't have an art book or something like that. I mean, the Mario All-Stars one already exists, so they could purchase that if they ever want that.
So Barry, you're saying one important thing though. Like, and it's actually, I think I can speak for JP, that's probably the opposite of what JP's talking about, which is you're talking about Nintendo making money, whereas JP's talking about he wants more for the history of the franchise. That's a much bigger, different thing. We don't care as gamers and as collectors what profit margins people make. We want cool things. I mean, there's stuff we're doing with our company. They're doing it simply for the history of it, not because it financially makes sense.
You're 100% right. I'm speaking as Nintendo is a company, which they are, and profit margin is 100%, what the investors, what the board wants.
Gross.
And it's true. They absolutely, and I think that's one of the reasons. They could have been super lazy and just taken the book from the Mario All-Stars and just put the same book in there since it already exists. They could just reprint it. Change 25 to 30, 35, nothing big. But yeah, I think if you want something like that, I mean, if you're really like jonesing for that, it does exist. And I would say just try to get the Mario All-Stars 25th and at least have that book. But yeah, it is a shame. I do wish they put more into the packaging. But now, do you guys think we're going to get a sequel? Do you think you were talking about all those twos? Do you think we're going to get 3D All-Stars 2 with Mario Galaxy 2, with, maybe the Mario Lands, but it's 3D, so maybe Mario 64 DS, maybe Mario 3D Lands, stuff like that?
I wouldn't put it past Nintendo, maybe in another year or two, because I think what will happen is we'll see this collection. We already know, now we're going to jump a little bit ahead in the Direct, but Super Mario 3D, is it World?
World.
World, plus Bowser's Fury from the Wii U is getting a physical release. They didn't say it's limited, but it's coming February, I believe, 21st, 2021, or February 12th, February next year. And, that's one of the last few remaining Wii U first-party games that's now going to be ported over to the Switch with some new content. So I mean, right now we know of 2 physicals coming. We obviously know Odyssey 2 in some fashion will be coming at some point. And I wouldn't put it past them to start drawing from the 3DS library, because once you're done with the Wii U, you could do some, Wii ports if you want, but you have a whole catalog of first-party games from the 3DS era and the DS era that, they could upscale it, they could upgrade it. I mean, we've seen Link's Awakening taken from the Game Boy and Game Boy Color completely redone, so it's not unfathomable that we wouldn't see, 3D Land or something else coming in the future as a standalone or a compilation. But I definitely think we're going to see more from Mario's history coming to the Switch.
Well, and you just mentioned something too when Barry was alluding to, like, Nintendo, what else are they working on? You mentioned Link's Awakening. Well, Nintendo did mention, like, 2 years ago, they're doing a Zelda release every year, and I highly doubt that Cadence of Hyrule counts. I don't think it does. So, if that doesn't count, what are they planning to release this holiday season? Or, because of COVID, are they just going to nix that idea and then wait till they actually have whatever game they're working on complete? Because it could be Breath of the Wild 2, but they could have been working on, like, another Link's Awakening, like Link to the Past, for example, or Link to the Past plus Link Between Worlds, or who knows.
Oracle games.
Or the Oracle game, or all of them. I want all of them, but
I have a feeling we are gonna. I mean, the rumors right now. I guess the heavy rumors are Skyward Sword from Wii. We would be getting that, and maybe even now with normal controls and not necessarily requiring the use of a Joy-Con.
What do you think, though, JP? Because if you look at Galaxy, it says that you're required to use motion controls for Galaxy, so it's not necessarily going to remove that functionality.
Yep. That threw me for a loop. I was like, wait, you have to use the Joy-Cons even on the TV with Galaxy? That's not what I was hoping for. I was hoping for more traditionalized controls.
That's true. I mean, you're right. It could end up being where if we got Skyward, that it would be the same thing. No matter how many times they re-release this, I really do want Wind Waker on the Switch. I would love to play that again. I mean, I haven't played it since the GameCube era, but that, even Twilight Princess, bringing that back. But you're right. I mean, going further back, I would love the Oracle of Season and Ages. I love a double pack of Link to the Past and Between Worlds. I mean, there's enough Zelda games. Heck, you can even remaster the original and do it like Link's Awakening style that they did. And I think it would be a great new entry.
Well, one of the old rumors, which was also around the 3D All-Stars rumor, was that one of the Zelda games is going to be obvious. So we're either getting Wind Waker or Twilight Princess from Wii U port. Like, we're getting one of those, if not both. But we're going to get one of those, which means that there's still a Nintendo video coming in some way, shape, or form. And that probably answers my what are they doing this holiday season. It's probably going to be a port. And if they're willing to do a 2-week drop for 3D All-Stars, they're probably going to be willing to do the same for Legend of Zelda in the future. They're going to let this... Nintendo's not dumb. They're going to let this build sales, keep hype for a while, and then they'll drop a Zelda sometime.
I think there's been rumors about it, or not rumors, but there's been trademarks filed for Zelda, and people are speculating next year will be a 35 collection and probably be that Skyward Sword with, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess.
Wow.
Seems really, really easy to do, but I do hope there's other stuff. The thing that saddens me is, like, with this 3D All-Stars, they did the the Mario 64 up-res. They didn't go above and beyond and make the 64 DS version available and make that with new controls. So, like you mentioned, like a Link to the Past, and Link Between Worlds, that'd be fantastic to see. But I feel like they would be just as lazy and do that. They wouldn't add in the extra stuff from, like, the GBA release with the Palace of the Four Swords thrown into A Link to the Past to add more content, which is a shame. I would love it if they treated it with the same thing they did with Link's Awakening, where they really put time and effort But I think
what if they did Zelda 3D All-Stars and they did the same generations as Mario? So we would get Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Time, Majora's Mask, and then they'd go into a GameCube one, which could be Twilight, because Twilight was on the GameCube, or Skyward Sword, or because you got to think about it, like Wind Waker probably would sell well on its own regardless.
Yep.
Yeah. Or they'll Sword on its own, like they did 3D World on its own.
Or 3D World was a Wii U game, and so like it's easier to port. Whereas like because they wouldn't have to redo everything if they were doing it part of a 3D pack. Because that's kind of what we're gonna see with these 3 games, is that they don't have to do a whole lot with it. They're just up-resing. So it would be up-resable games. So maybe everything that was put on the Wii U probably gets a standalone. So probably even Twilight. But like imagine getting Oracle, Majora, and then Skyward on a 3D All-Stars pack.
That would be cool.
I would be happy.
I think what's interesting is that even looking at this Mario collection, you could have released each of the 3 individually at a $40 price point, and honestly, I don't think anybody would have complained. Like if they were like, "Hey, in September we're going to be releasing 64, in November we're going to be releasing Sunshine, and then January, let's say, we're going to do Galaxy." I think everyone would be like, "Oh my gosh, like we're getting all these Mario games." And if we had never heard of a compilation or thought about it, I don't think people would have been like, "Oh, they should have just combined all 3." But the fact that you're getting 3, Barry, I didn't even think about like a compilation for Zelda, but you're absolutely right. I mean, they've done it in the past, right? We've seen it at least on the GameCube when they had it was the collector's edition, and then also I guess like the pre-order bonus with Majora's or Ocarina and the Master Quest. But you could absolutely do that, or you could do them individually, and I think we would just be as equally happy however we got it.
I think though you're probably going to be a little disappointed, Jeff, because I don't think there's going to be a Zelda this year. I think they're going to ride the coattails of Mario 35 for the remainder of the year with COVID. I think they're going to count Cadence of Hyrule Physical with all the added DLC as the Zelda for the year to keep that saying going, and they're going to save Zelda for next year on the 35th anniversary. That's my prediction.
I hope you're wrong, but in reality though, like if they're gonna do anything, they're probably gonna do the lazy route, and not lazy, but the route of just porting over either Wind Waker or Twilight Princess, and they'll probably listen to JP, because whenever JP asks for stuff, Nintendo gives them what he wants, and so they'll probably give him his Wind Waker this year. So we'll probably have a Playcast episode on Wind Waker sometime.
Yeah, probably. I also, with the Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, a lot of people have been clamoring for the 3DS versions with the enhanced graphics instead of just porting the N64 versions over, which would be awesome. But yeah, it's just going to be one of those interesting times for sure. But looking now with 3D World confirmed, with new content and all that coming over, how many more Wii U ports do you think we're going to get? Pikmin 3 obviously is coming out this year too. Like, there's not that many.
What's left?
Xenoblade X is one.
Yeah. I mean, you don't think we're not going to get that? We're definitely going to get that.
Yeah. Whether that's next year or the year after, I cannot imagine they would bring, they would redo the definitive edition of the first one. They bring over 2, or they make 2, obviously. but X, how could you not have that final piece of at least a trilogy of what's out right now in that universe? I mean, I think it's coming. Also, would you count Devil's Third as a first party?
It's published by Nintendo, yeah. Oh.
So I mean, that's one. I'm trying to think like what else was on the Wii U.
That is probably one I could see not coming over. Star Fox Zero. Oh,
Star Fox, yeah.
I would love to see Star Fox with the fixed controls.
Oh. But here's a question: would you rather Star Fox Zero with fixed controls or a brand new Star Fox done right?
Both. Or Star Fox 64?
Both.
No, we've done Star Fox 64 enough times.
I mean, Star Fox Zero essentially does rehash Star Fox 64.
Which rehashes Fox.
Yep. So, I mean, I absolutely just want to see them redo Zero, because it just was so close to being awesome. like you wouldn't have to do the whole change your perspective from the one screen to the other, which was the only jarring thing for me. The controls themselves, when I was playing, were fine. It was the fact that you had to change your perspective and couldn't enjoy on the giant screen Star Fox. Mm-hmm. So like that was my missed thing, is I'm like spending most of my time staring at the tiny screen when there's a lot going on the big screen. Now all they'd have to do is do a cockpit in a corner on the screen or in the middle bottom or something, and you could see everything, mm-hmm. and it would be amazing. Like, give us that.
That would be great to see. I'm trying to think. There's Mario Party 10 Tennis Ultra Smash, which will stay there because they were terrible.
They gave us Super Mario Party, or they give us like all of those sequel-based games we've seen. I really do think, like you talk about Game and Wario, like we'll probably see some type of Warrior collection, probably.
They'll probably show like the Wii Party U will probably stay over. Wii Sports will stay over. Wii Fit, stay over.
Well, we kind of got our bowling in the game board games.
Yeah, Clubhouse had that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to like look through the list and see. Well, Sing Party was technically a Nintendo first-party title.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, but even our game of the episode's an odd one because we didn't get it in the U.S. Like
which is weird.
Yeah, because it was it's a super
so there was,
popular title. Yep.
There was still one more announcement during the Direct, which was now a toy essentially, which is the Mario Kart.
Live
toy carts that you can use your Switch to control, but there is no cartridge. I think it's just a code in the box. Right. But
physical.
You know what? I actually, it's funny. I make my own rules when it comes to physicals. I don't count it as such because there's no case.
It's because you're wrong, JP. Because it's literally published in the book with the criteria that says that the physical, like this is a different one. Because we counted. Yeah. We counted Sonic Mania as a physical. It's in the physical section. It's print. It's law.
Yeah. Yes, for the Switch Collector book, completely valid. For JP's personal collection, it's a pass, which is good for me because I think they're $100 each, and there's right now a Mario and a Luigi card coming.
You need them all, JP.
What?
You need them all to complete your collection.
Oh, if you were talking the 2017 and 2018, maybe even halfway through 2019, JP, I would have had both of them pre-ordered already. Thankfully.
Well, you're not collecting the whole. You're not collecting the whole Switch library. That's okay. You don't have to have the whole Switch library. You're gonna be missing a game.
Yes, that's okay.
I gotta post.
What strikes me the most about this game, though, is it is a physical items.
Yes.
And the last 2 times Nintendo has done something with physical items, which was Ring Fit Adventure and Labo, they each came with physical carts in case. This is another physical item. It's Mario Kart, and it doesn't come with a physical cart in case. That's not consistent at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's classic Nintendo. And the only thing that drives me nuts, because this would be something that'd be super cool, but what drives me nuts about it, I don't have wood flooring. I have carpet. So, like, I couldn't even use the thing. What if I get to do? Draw it around my pool, and then if the thing malfunctions, the cart goes right into my pool? Like, that's the only spot where I have some concrete in my house.
If I had hardwood, like, my wife wants to do hardwood in the living room, and she looked at me when I showed her this, and she was like, see, this is the reason I want hardwood in the living room.
Nintendo just cost you with, like, thousands of dollars. What the hell, Nintendo?
If I did have the hardwood there, like this would be closer to me getting it. If I had kids that were interested, then absolutely. But as it is with the digital code only and carpets, I'm passing. So,
yeah, no. Yeah, this is a hard pass for me just because of the price. It's cool. Again, not practical. Don't have the facilities. And the fact that there's even no game is going to be like, it's going to be super niche. It's going to be even more niche than Labo.
Yeah. Now, what if it was $60 with the one cart, but it was $100 was with 2 carts? So it was like a 2-player pack kind of deal. Would that be a better sell?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, $60 is your normal price.
Doesn't Nintendo advertise playing together? I mean, it would just make sense to just give you 2 carts.
Yeah, it would. But Mario Kart's also a single-player game, so you're not always racing against each other. You're racing against the computer AI.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
I would say, what did you think about this Mario Direct?
We missed one major announcement.
It's a big one.
Big one.
Direct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, what did I miss?
35.
Mario
Yes.
35.
Sorry, yes.
That's
Sorry,
probably my most excited thing.
I know. How could you forget that? That's
Sorry.
awesome.
You know what? There's just so much Mario.
Too much Mario.
Too much.
Yeah, so Mario 35, it's going to be like Tetris 99, but with 35 players where you play. It looks like possibly standard Mario 1, but also maybe some special levels. Every enemy you defeat can go to somebody else, and vice versa if they're targeting you using a system where you want to target the person in the lead, who has the most coins, etc., similar to Tetris 99's formula. And it is free for Nintendo Online members, but it goes away March 31st.
Gross. Don't
know if or if they're going to change it up, or I think didn't Tetris 99 wasn't that supposed to be a limited time thing, and then they just kept it going because it was so popular. Could the same thing happen here?
I mean, I hope it continues because unlike Tetris 99, where I'm nowhere near good at playing it, like Mario, I'll play that a ton. And like, I mean, that's obviously as soon as they drop that game, like we're gonna make that a Playcast episode for sure. Like we have to. Mm-hmm. It'll just be super fun. My goal is I want to get first place once. I wanted to in Tetris, and there's no way in hell. I'm not good enough. Mario, I can absolutely at least get first place at once. That's the goal. It's the dream.
So what you're saying is, if you're playing and Jeff is there, target him. Everyone target him.
Good luck. Good luck, everyone. Bring it. Honestly, like, they need to do this with more franchises. Like, why wouldn't we get this for, like, I don't know, Super Mario Kart for Super Nintendo? Like more versus games where there's more craziness and insanity. Like,
well, they did this for the Mario 35. Imagine next year maybe they'll do something with Zelda or Metroid. Remember, it's Metroid's 35th anniversary next year too.
Just imagine though, like Legend of Zelda original 35 style. Like
That'd be insane.
35 style. It's already grueling enough.
Jesus, that'd be amazing though. Man.
Oh, like 35.
So you're saying we could get a bunch of Metroid announcements next year too?
I have a feeling that's where Metroid Prime Trilogy has been holding out for the 35th anniversary, and they're just going to use that as a celebration.
Double
Once again,
pack.
I'm okay with that.
Double pack, Metroid Prime Trilogy and Metroid Prime 4 with Premium Edition.
Jeff shoots for the moon.
Hey,
I mean,
why not?
It's been rumored for so long, and it makes sense. I mean, especially with COVID. If you were Nintendo and you said, well, this anniversary is coming up, we never celebrate it. We have this already done. We just didn't put it out yet. COVID hit. Let's save it for that. Like, it just makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I mean, it all makes sense. I don't like that Nintendo's limiting this digital, just because, I mean, this is a game that will, if there's not a ton of lag, which Tetris 99 has been fine, it should be a really, really fun game to play, like for the lifetime of the Switch. So why would you limit that? I get it, 35th. Make some specific content for it that goes away, but keep the game. Mm-hmm. Like, have a 35th skin or something. I don't know.
Did you see them continuing this on, adding new worlds or new starting points? Like, not everyone starts at 1-1, maybe start at like 5-1, and then adding some single player content in a physical release of this, like Tetris 99.
Nintendo is notorious for lying. I mean, yeah, because they said there's no more updates for Mario Maker 2.
Well, they didn't do an update; they just made a level. That's all it was.
That's still an update.
They could have done more. They could have done like a special 35th skin or something, but that was like the laziest, I think, of the cross promotions.
Yeah, but I mean, they're still doing something to the final update, and then they're doing another thing. So, I mean, Nintendo is classic for continuing things when they say they're not.
Others, you were only supposed to get characters, and we got small battlefield out of nowhere.
Yeah. I mean, that's just it. They might keep going. Who knows? Now that was the last piece, JP.
Yeah. So there was another big announcement that happened this week on the same day, just maybe an hour or two before it.
Oh my God, what was that one?
It had to do with premium edition games.
Yeah, it was
So,
ironic. It wasn't like an hour after we announced our big news.
yeah,
Yeah.
we put it out at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time, and I think Nintendo dropped theirs 9, 10 o'clock.
Man.
So we were in the spotlight, I would say, for like a good hour and a half, maybe.
So what's the news?
So after weeks of hearing about it and listening to everyone's feedback, we are happy to announce that we have partnered with Video Games Plus, a Canadian retailer and distributor, to handle our international shipping. So if you've been to the site recently, or maybe you were only there on the first day, international shipping is now turned off. So what that means is that if you've already placed an order with us and you wanted to get your shipping adjusted, you just contact support. And there was a newsletter that went out that's also all over our social media. If you're a new customer outside the U.S., we have a link right on our website. Or
there's like links in 3 different spots on every page that show to where to go. Like it's on the main page, it's on our physical releases page, and on the actual games page that have links to where to buy it. I think we still had a couple people asking, and we're just like, oh yeah, no, it's just right here. It's right here. Don't worry.
Or you could go to videogamesplus.ca, and right now you'll see it all over their front page. All Super Blood Hockey. But yeah, we're really excited for this partnership. They're a great company, really good reputation, because once we announced it, I mean, I personally, across all the social media channels I follow, I did not see one person speak badly about Video Games Plus. It was all, this is great, you couldn't have picked a better company, their shipping is fantastic, and it really is. They were able to get the shipping down in line to essentially what we're shipping domestically.
And so, he didn't talk about Canada. He talked about worldwide outside of the United States, because we're actually personally handling U.S.-based customers. But worldwide, and it covers all those weird acronyms you guys keep asking us about. What are they like?
Yes, VAT taxes, DDP,
Diamond Dallas Pages, and all the. But like people would ask us about that, and we're like, yeah, sorry, like we can't handle that on our side. Well, the international distributor, they handle all of those things. They've been dealing with it for years.
Yeah. And then for those who may be questioning it, it's the exact same release. So that slipcover, if you're pre-ordering it through Video Games Plus, you're getting the slipcover, the challenge card, everything that we've advertised, you'll be getting with them. So they're our exclusive partner in Canada. They're our exclusive international shipper, and we're excited. And I think the reception has been really well. Barry, you're living in Discord, so how has it been over there?
Yeah, it's been actually excellent. Everybody has been very appreciative of that. That was our number one complaint. And at support, I can't tell you how many emails I got. Just, I want to buy this, but it's too high. I want to buy this, but the shipping's too high. Can you do something about the shipping? For weeks, we've just been getting a lot of emails about that, and I felt really bad. I was like, I wish we could do something. And we definitely had something in the works, but we couldn't tell anybody yet until it was confirmed. But I was so happy to be able to email those people and say, hey, guess what? Now you can do Video Games Plus, and people have just been super happy. People have been really appreciative of that, because that was our real number one complaint, and we tackled it. And I haven't seen anyone say, oh, well, I still have to pay. Like, no, everyone's just like, oh, wow, it's that cheap for me now, international. Now I'm going to be happy because I'm going to get your game. And I understand that. JP and I were full set collectors, which means we are also setting, from European and from Asian territories, which means we do pay some high shippings for some games. So we get that. We feel that pain, and we're happy that we can now not have you guys pay that higher price. You guys can get a great deal on a great game from a great company.
It's a lot of greats there, Barry.
So I think it's been a really good week for us. I will also say, just as a reminder, if you haven't pre-ordered your copy of Super Blood Hockey, you have until September 22nd, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, because we are shutting it off. The game's going into production. We have a estimated release date of December 7th right now that we're aiming to meet.
And I will say, while like we are shutting it off, we're not putting it back up till we have copies in hand, but we don't know how many copies that's going to be. It might not be a ton because we have distribution deals, people. That's the one thing that I keep telling people is like, okay, yeah, we're not, we know what the minimum print run is on the Nintendo Switch, but we're doing distribution deals, and that's not our only distribution deal. Like, we have to wait for the ink to dry on who we're working with before we announce anything. And so there are distribution deals. We don't know how many copies are going to be left. There might only be a handful left when we have them in hand, and then we're like, okay, well, that was the print run.
Right.
Like,
it's true.
Like, legitimate, like, limited stuff. Like, unintentionally limited, but limited. If people buy games, cool. If they don't, and we hit the minimum, you know what the minimum is, people.
Yeah, and I will say, we do have the notify when back in stock option on our other games that aren't even up for sale yet. So we'll have the same thing on Super Blood Hockey. It'll be a pop-up on that page. And, that's essentially what we're probably going to be working off of if we have copies. And we won't know how many until the pre-order window closes. And even then, we are going to be waiting, like Jeff said, until they're in hand. So if you're thinking of getting the game, just pre-order it. You definitely don't want to miss this. And, it's our first game, and it's fun. It's a fun time to be part of the growing premium edition games community.
The crazy thing is that, like, we've been busy. That's the thing. Like, off of Playcast and actually making physical items, like, there are tons of games. I posted this weekend that I've been trying out tons of games. And we're constantly, and it has to be, like, for us, it has to be like a home run, knock it out of the park, and connect with us. And that's our main piece. So we're not releasing just any old game when we put out a game. It has to be a really fun one, and the developers have to be as into it as we are too. Which sometimes some developers, they're going on to the next game and stuff, and like, we want to make a comprehensive, fun history piece where we want to talk about everything and do all of the things. It's like Loren from Super Blood Hockey. He's super passionate, and that's a perfect example of, like, a good, fun release for everyone.
Yeah. I mean, I will say the first three, or the three games that we've announced, all the developers and the publishers have been very involved, very, very receptive, very excited, and yeah, I mean, that's honestly one of the criteria. It's not just the game has to be good and a game that, all three of us would want to play and own, but we want the developers, and if there's a digital publisher involved, we want them to be involved with the game too, because it's their project, it's their baby. They spent all this time and effort and money into making this quality game. So, we look at that as well. So if you are a developer and you have a game, contact us. Let's take a look. Let's talk.
So, in classic Playcast, since we've launched the company fashion, the one cool thing I can share with the listeners is we did get the challenge cards in the mail. They're samples. What I mean by samples is that I'll order a small batch just to check it out. These are definitely getting kicked back because the border is not symmetric enough for me. So this won't be like, because there's like even on the promo images, there's like a white border around it. I actually don't like how the cut is on the borders. On the back side, I'm not as critical of the border being perfect, because that is a thing with sports cards, is the centering of an image, because every time there's a cut, the centering won't be perfect. But on the front, I just don't quite like the non-asymmetricalness, so the actual final one will not have a border on the front of Super Blood Hockey. But I do have the challenge card, and going in line with that, I do have the actual patches, the challenge patches, in hand, all of them. So I got 1,000 patches sitting now here, and those I mail out by hand when people complete the challenges. Something JP already wants to show off, and I'm like, not yet, JP, not yet. Yeah. We have to have the actual card in hand. So when I get the next batch of sample cards, because I'm going to do another batch, then I will make sure. And yes, JP and Barry have to earn the damn patches. They don't get the patch until they earn it, everyone. That's everybody has to earn it. I have to earn it myself. I can't put it on my premium edition games jean jacket until And that being said, though, I do need to get some premium edition giant patches. Those will probably be a little more expensive because I'm not doing 1,000 of them. I'm just gonna do it.
Right.
Like if you guys want one, which I would assume, then get one. But that'll be something that we can make available online. It'll be not super cheap, maybe a couple bucks. It's not expensive, but it'll be a couple bucks, and it'll be something if you're going to do like me and do a jean jacket, because I'm going to do a cut-off sleeves jean jacket. I'm going to have it so when we go to conventions, I'll have our patches. But again, I have to earn it too. And some of these challenges are not going to be easy. Talking with Matt from A Robot Named Fight. Oh yeah, that challenge is going to be a character builder.
Oh boy! I mean,
good luck, everyone.
Game Genie for this.
Game Genie. I can't play them all for you, JP. Jeez.
Damn it. I am excited about the challenge cards because right now we've been talking about it. No one's seen it. They've read a description on the website. But I think it's going to be really cool once we show off what it looks like minus the challenge, because you're not going to know what the challenge is until you open up your copy of the game.
Yep.
And then you see it. But no, I'm loving the idea of the patches. And it's funny because, over the last 2 weeks, we've actually been doing some interviews. Mm-hmm. And one that I did was with Sports Byline. And the person said, oh, it's a retro reward. And I'm like, I really like that term. Like, I didn't think about it before, but I'm like, that's exactly what it is. I mean, that's the inspiration where it came from back, as Jeff has mentioned, through the Activision challenges during the Atari days. But it's a retro reward. And I'm glad we're doing it because it really does add another layer to just buying a game. You're buying a game.
You mentioned, what was it, Sports Byline? Yep. The audio is available. I think we may be putting it on our YouTube channel, right? Yes.
So right now we got the audio. We're just modifying it a little bit to put it up on YouTube, and then once we do, we'll put a blog post as well. We'll share it on social media. But you'll get to hear JP on the radio talking all about Super Blood Hockey and Premium Edition games, and then coming hopefully in the next week or so, Jeff and I were on a relatively newer website / podcast. It's called Geeks Who Love Sports. Yep. And we got to talk with two great hosts, again, all about Super Blood Hockey.
They have a rich history in games, the games industry and print. Like some of them did. I know one of the hosts was in which one was it? Was EGM? He was the sports editor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Electronic Gaming Magazine back in the day.
Yeah, so he's EGM sports editor, and they did it was really cool. They did some research on us, so they knew some things about us, and it was stuff that I was like, oh, cool. So they sprung that out on us, and we did show off the challenge card, which is the one with the border, but we showed it off without showing off the challenge, because I conveniently put my thumb over the challenge. But we did show off the challenge card on the video version of that podcast, as I would assume they did audio.
And we did say that's where it will debut, so we will keep to that. So once they air that, you'll get at least the first take of the card, which I think is still going to be exciting to see. But then on top of that, Barry, you've also been on a few podcasts yourself recently.
Yes. Yeah, so I've been on the We the Gamer cast, which should be going live today, where I did talked about Premium Edition games a bit. And I was also a guest host on the latest Nintendo Everything podcast, which is available right now to listen. Went live yesterday. And during the Adventure Log segment, I absolutely talked all about Premium Edition games and really, took everybody by surprise. They didn't, the host was like, wait, what? Really? This is so cool. Which is awesome. Just to hear that surprise, because we did kind of just come out of nowhere, but we come out of nowhere in a big way. And so you can listen to that. That is available right now. And of course, did talk about it previously in the latest Nintendo Fuse podcast as well, where I will continue to talk Premium Edition when we have cool stuff to announce after we announce it here.
Yeah, and I will say that if you haven't heard Barry as the co-host on Nintendo Everything, that'll be going up on our social media channels just a little bit today. Or actually, whenever you hear this, it'll already be up. But you'll be seeing it soon.
And I do want to say thanks to everybody that's already supported us. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, and it will definitely help us, build steam and continue. Because the thing is, as long as everybody's supporting us, we're going to continue to do awesome releases, and we are already doing the physical orders. Like, we're not waiting. Like, people were like, oh, well, you got to sell out of all the amounts of games. I'm like, you don't have to sell out on the entire run of games in order to order the Switch physical games. Like, you absolutely don't. Like, even from our first, week of sales, we have enough to start the physical production. So guess what we did? We started the physical production in the first week. It takes a long time to get everything looking professional and correct. And that's my main thing is that we're going to make it as premium as possible. Like, it's going to be something where when you get it, you're going to be like, okay, yeah, this is amazing. Like, this is exactly what they've been telling us. This is what we've been talking about. It has all the bells and whistles I want, all the different history of art and art pieces that we want. I mean, we were going back and forth this weekend on the manual, and I mean, we've had a few people out there working on, shooting us their style of manuals, and I'm like, this is kind of an art book. We need an actual traditional manual. And I sent JP a picture. I don't know if I sent it to you, Barry, but I will. It was literally like, hey, working on the manual is a picture of Super Blood Hockey and Ice Hockey for the NES. I'm literally have the Ice Hockey manual, and I'm looking through it for inspiration and formatting. So, there's some certain layouts and designs that I'm going to mirror. Even on the front of the manual, we have the classic icon from Super Blood Hockey, the head-to-head that Digirati created for the release. I have that on the front of the manual, but then I took the text and I kind of italicized and made it go diagonally like Ice Hockey on the NES, where it says instruction booklet. It's more like a italicized, and it goes upward, up to the bottom left to the top right. It kind of does a little slant type deal. So I actually am mirroring even that on the front. It's gonna be lots of cool little things that I'm doing. I recreated a scene on the back. So for the Xbox Live, they did, Digirati and Loren did a really crazy looking one where they're playing Super Blood Hockey in a game room. The hockey players are, and I took off the Super Blood Hockey logo off of the poster and I put Loren's pixelated picture. They have Loren on their wall. It's just on the back. It's so funny. To me, it's yeah, we have a picture of Loren Lemenke on our wall.
That's awesome.
Yeah, every single page is gonna have little Easter eggs and tidbits. That's kind of how I always build my manuals. It's just fun that way. And I mean, we just got in, I think it was today, Loren actually wrote a piece to all the players in the manual. So he's gonna introduce the manual, saying, hey, thanks for whatever, here's this, good luck, kind of thing, which is pretty funny. But that's the kind of thing we want to do.
I just picture Lauren as the coach during the training, where he's like, yeah, people said this game's too hard, and it is. If you're not good at it, it's probably because you suck. That's what I'm just picturing him in his mind, where he's like, enjoy the game, everybody. Hope you have fun. And he's really just thinking, you're in for a world of hurt in a good way.
We're about to throw you into the dumpster. His t-shirt says what?
T-shirt says "Get good on it."
Get good on it. I mean, honestly, we do need some t-shirts. I think that we need to have Erica do some t-shirts for us, JP.
Yes,
Switch Core member.
Talks with her.
Yeah, and so I think one of them for Super Blood Hockey literally needs to be one of the players getting thrown into a dumpster.
I'm typing that to her now. Thrown in dumpster. I'll explain the context later to her.
No context. Just see where it goes. See where it goes. No, but it's hilariously, because I mean, we did have some requests for some t-shirts and stuff, which we think will be cool. I'm probably not going to do a t-shirt of the month or anything like some of the other companies are doing, but just have some fun shirts that we can wear to conventions whenever conventions ever open in 2025.
Can't wait.
Yay!
Huh.
So, do we need to talk about the game of the episode, or do we have anything else for news?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I feel like those were the two big things that happened in the world of Nintendo Switch last week.
Yeah, I think so too. I was just making sure I didn't miss anything.
Yeah. So I'm good with going into the game.
Ready? We ready? All right. So, game of the episode is Dr. Kiwashima's Brain Training for Nintendo Switch. It was developed in joint by Nintendo, but also by a company called Indie Zero. Have you guys heard of Indie Zero before?
Nope.
I hadn't.
Okay, so Indie Zero is an interesting one because I only know it because my favorite television show of all time is called Game Center CX. Have either of you heard of Game Center CX?
Yes.
Nope.
So, Game Center CX is a television show in Japan where a comedian, Shinra Arino, plays video games, but plays them pretty poorly. And it's hilarious. Like, he started playing pretty poorly. It's in, like, the 25th or 26th season. Not episode, season. He's been doing this for years. He's traveled the world. He has been on Nintendo Directs with Iwata and with Miyamoto playing Mario Maker, playing lots of stuff. Well, Indie Zero created Retro Game Challenge on the Nintendo DS, which is Game Center CX in Japan. Basically Retro Game Challenge is a compilation of indie retro style Nintendo games that you play challenges on, which is amazing. Then they did a sequel on the DS, Game Center CX2, which has a fan translation, but it also jumps into Game Boy and Super Nintendo. And then they did a 3DS one that wasn't as well received because I think that they kind of took away some of the fun and inspiration of the original two. But Indie Zero is a super talented company, and it looks like Nintendo has like brought them on because if they're putting them in charge of brain training, it's an interesting piece. It was directed by Kenta Kubo and produced and artist and composed by a lot of Japanese names that I could butcher right now.
Go for it, Jeff. I want to hear this.
No way! It was released in Japan on December 27th of 2019 and released in Europe and Australia only January 3rd of 2020. Does not have a US release, which is odd because the original Brain Age series, Brain Age, on the DS was really popular. So let's go over a little bit of the wallpaper. It builds upon the previous installments by adding puzzles and minigames to strengthen players' memory and concentration skills. The game contains previous puzzles in the series, all of which are taught by Dr. Kiyoshima. The puzzles in the game take advantage of some of the Nintendo Switch's functionality, such as the gyroscope and the IR sensors. Physical additions to the game include a stylus, which aid in the touchscreen puzzles as an alternative to using your fingers. There also are different pieces where you take off your and use your Nintendo Switch's IR sensors where you're like putting up fingers and stuff, which I literally would never use because I don't use my Joy-Cons, so I didn't play those modes while we played. You have two different games of play in the game. You have quick play, where you can practice everything, and daily training. It's mostly played in handheld mode with barely any reliance on the TV. And it's held vertically mostly during the so like Tate mode during the play when you're touching the screen, so you're using it as a long vertical, almost like a book. There are 24 different unique puzzles, and in quick play you play it at your own pace. There's even a really, really chill Dr. Mario style game that you can use to unwind. And it has the classic Brain Age check, which we get to see how old we are here on the episode today. See who had a fast brain. As you solve puzzles quicklier, the younger your brain age will be. And this game also has a weekly championship mode where you connect online, playing versus a variety of 3 different games where you only get 2 attempts to solve the puzzles as fast as you can. There was 3 or 4. There may have been 4 on the one that I did. I didn't do this weekend's because technically we would have recorded. I did it the weekend before, and I did two of them because 2 of them were like the finger ones that use the IR, so I didn't do them. And basically you get your access to all the performances on Monday after your Saturday championship, and they do different events every week. So it's really cool. If you're importing this game, there's actually a weekly competition you can be a part of. I don't know if either of you guys did the competition, but
Yes.
How far did you guys do, or what did you do? We'll go with JP.
Sure. So, in true JP fashion, I played this game one time. So I played it Friday night, but I would say that I played it for at least 1 to 2 hours. Because what it is when you set up your account, they go through the tutorial, they go through the history of why this game was created and kind of how the study is used and the metrics. So I did all that. You take your initial test to see what age your brain is, and I'm a sprightly young 80-year-old.
Classic JP.
And it's funny, I called Jeffrey and I go, so I feel like they just give everybody, an 80-year-old to motivate them, and he's like, no, I'm like in the, I'll let him tell you what number. I'm just like, oh man, like it really is customized. So I think I'm as old as you possibly can be in this game, which just teaches me that I need to use this to really develop myself. But what's interesting is that when you first start, they give you a test in a sense to measure your brain, and the game was rocks, paper, scissors. So it's really the first time I used the Joy-Con with the AR camera. And what it is you put it down. You can either hold it in one hand, but I put it down on the edge of the table. And there's 2 options that'll happen in the game. You either have to beat the computer. So if they show rock, you put paper and you make the paper hand symbol with your hand. Or it says you have to purposely lose. So if they show rock, you put scissors. And I'm telling you, one, it was very accurate. Like I never had an instance where I did one gesture and it picked up as another. But the other thing is, it's hard. I mean, like your brain really has to adapt because it's like win, and then they show you something, then they'll say lose, and then lose again, then win. And I was not fast enough in some cases, so like the game kept going, and in others I just couldn't comprehend what it was asking me quick enough, so I was doing the wrong thing. But it was really fun because I've never done something like that with the Switch before. So then after they give you your brain age, then it shows you a calendar and it says, okay, do these daily activities, and when you're done, you kind of put like a check mark on the calendar.
Get your stamp, JP.
Get your stamp. So I went through pretty much all of the activities that were currently available, because as you play more, you'll unlock different exercises. So you start with a base, and one of them was mathematical question. So it was, I think it was a round of 25 or 50, and it's how fast you could do it. Then there's reading comprehension, and where you have to just read an article out loud really fast, and it doesn't catch. You're not reading for comprehension of the article, but it's to train your brain to just read quickly, and then they have you read it again, and then when you're done, you just click OK. So I did that as well. Then there was a memory game where you look at a picture and then they show you another picture and you have to select what the previous picture was. And oh my God, it's so confusing for me.
The only way I could do that one, JP, is out loud. So I'm like,
yes,
as I'm doing it, I'm like, all right, dog with yellow. And then I go to the next one, it's like purple flower. And then purple flower right, because then they mirror it.
And what's interesting is that they actually say that, like, even with the math problems, it's better to read it out loud. And I did the exact same thing because I was like, yellow flower, turtle looking right, like orange mountain, like something like that. And it got progressively harder because it starts with 2 pictures to choose from, and then it goes up to 4. Yeah. But you have to remember the previous picture while also remembering what picture you're seeing on the screen for when the next round goes. And I mean, I had a lot of fun with this.
Did you unlock or get to play dual task?
No.
Oh, dual task is like you literally have to do hurdles where you have to tap the screen to jump over hurdles while you're selecting, as they move around eventually, the highest number on the screen.
Wow. Yeah, this game is...
It's birds, so when you think, oh, there's a hurdle, I got to quickly hit it, jumping actually hurts you. It's a mistake. They really trick you.
And then as Jeff mentioned, there is a weekly global competition. So I did take part in it because it was on Saturday, and I went through 4 different activities. I think they say the results get posted on Monday, so I haven't checked yet.
Yeah.
But there was about 4,000 people online while I was doing it, so it's really impressive. The game is
interesting,
yeah.
JP. So I did mine, and I did competition. It looks like 29, which was last week's. My brain age, by the way, is 41, JP. 41.
Of course it is.
So I had to do, the only 2 I did was calculations times 25, and I got it done in 33 seconds.
Wow.
And I was number 3,856 out of 5,414. So that's God. Poor. And so I got a C on that one in 33 seconds. Yeah. So people are fast, apparently, way faster than me. I'm in Europe. And then the other one was dual task, and I ended up getting 38 seconds. I was number 1,854 out of 5,200. So I got an A- on that one. So that one was pretty good. I was the only U.S. person, too, apparently. That's the one thing I'm noticing is, like, I'm the only U.S. nerd that's doing all this.
You're representing us and you're in the thousands? That's not good, Jeff.
I'm in the top 10%. Was that?
I said USA.
Oh, jeez. But yeah, I ended up. I want to say that though you mentioned you were like 80 when you started. I think I was also like 60 when I started. But like when my last brain age was 41. So
I will just like to say that I don't sleep, and I did this at 11 at night. So I'd like to think that affected my age just a little bit, but it just shows the importance that
JP says he doesn't sleep. JP sleeps.
You know what? I'm actually surprised I was able to complete these challenges with no sleep. But I will say I've always enjoyed like math problems, and it was quite fun to go really quick because during the daily practice, I think it was only 50 questions, but during the global competition, it was 100 math questions, and I did 100 in just under, I think, 2 minutes and 44 seconds with 2 wrong, because for the life of me, I did not know what 9 times 7 was. It's 63, by the way.
Is it? Oh, okay.
I'm telling you, if you gave me that equation on Saturday and you were like, your entire Switch collection will burn in flames if you don't get this right at least once out of 2 times, that whole collection would be gone. I just did not know what 9 times 7 was for the life of me. And I know numbers, and I was just like, I know there must be a number that equals 9 times 7, but I just can't think what it is. So of course, once I finish, I look online. I'm like, 63. I'm like, I never use that number.
You looked online instead of a calc. What? I had to Google it.
I use like a Google calculator.
What?
Dear Siri, what's
now I know why your brain age is 80.
Alexa, what is 9 times 7?
I'm sorry, guys. I felt so poorly.
Basic math.
I will say though, like, this is one of those games. It's funny. I'm a hardcore physical collector. This is a game that I would want to get digitally, only because I would want to use this every day, and I would not want to pop it in and out of my system.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see myself using this because it is fun. I really enjoy it, and I like the idea of it's you're playing a game, but at the same time you really are. I mean, not cliche or anything, but you are training your brain. And I think it's very helpful and useful. Like I see a lot of merit to it, and at the same time, it's just I don't feel like I do enough of that, like the analytical exercises and things like that. But with that said, besides just that Dr. Mario type of game, they also had Sudoku in there, and I did play Sudoku. I think for the first time in years, and I found it to be quite fun. So there's a lot of content in this game.
I feel like it's like super challenging, even on easy. The Sudoku's like harder than like hard on normal Sudoku games that we have on the Switch.
Oh, good. I was able to do it in like 7 minutes. I did all the practice examples, and then I did the first one on easy, and I was able to do it all right on the first try. And And Sudoku's fun, and I like that it's also included in here. It's just there's a lot of content in the brain training, and I'm very surprised the U.S. did not get this because there's really no reason we shouldn't have seen a physical release of this one. So
Did we even get a
was,
digital release? I don't think we did.
I was looking, and I don't think so.
And like you said, like I agree that it being physical is actually to its detriment on the Switch because I don't want to sit there and have to swap it out. Like it just needs to be on my Switch to be able to play. And you really only need to play like 3 mini games, and then it's like, all right, you done for the day? Like you're good for your training. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, but then it's like, well, do I really want to keep that game on hand, the cartridge on hand at all times, and the stylus? That there's no real spot for the stylus like there was with the DS. That's where the DS, it worked really well because, again, you'd have the stylus with you. Whereas this one, it's kind of inconvenient. Maybe that's why they didn't bring it over. But, again, do it digital only and make the stylus somehow attached to the Switch, and then we're good. Like,
Barry.
Yes.
How old are you, Barry?
Yeah. What's your age?
So I started this up on Monday, I believe, Monday or Tuesday, and I played every day up until yesterday. I didn't log in yet today, and I started up, and I think my age was like 60 or 65 when I started. I was like, oh god, that's bad. So I started working every day, doing most of the different games. I'm not a huge fan of Sudoku, so I only did that like once. The reading aloud was great. The calculations was great. The 2 tasks, the dual task. At first, I didn't like it just because like when I needed to hurdle, I wanted to just tap like just above the numbers, and you have to go to the top of the screen to tap. I'm like, really? I want to just tap quickly, even though I had to be a little more conscientious of it. But I did like that the more I played it. The memory thing really screwed me up. Like the one I absolutely hate is here's a list of words. Memorize these words.
Oh, I'm terrible at that.
Write down which ones. I am terrible at that. I am absolutely terrible at straight memorization that quickly with that pressure. I did. I was like, here's 30 words, and I got like 11 of them. I'm like, oh yeah, it's just definitely a weak point of mine. But I did the competition this Saturday. I just didn't get the results. But the calculations times 100 turned my brains to melt. Like it was just like so many. I was like, oh my god, and I got them all right. But it was just like, oh my god, that was just too much, too quickly, you know.
He knew 7 times 9 without Google.
Yes, I did it without Google. The camera thing was cool because the rock paper scissors worked really well, and then there's another one with fingers, whereas how many fingers? Like, it's finger math.
Yeah.
So it's only going to be, the answer is going to be 1 to 5. I don't think 0 is ever an answer. And the first time I did it, I didn't get the best time because I was doing, with rock, paper, scissors, you put your hand there and then immediately pull it out for the next one. And I was doing the same thing with the number math. So it'd be show like 2 fingers, you know, on one hand plus 2 fingers on another, you have to show 4 fingers. So I'd show 4 fingers and I pull my hand out of the camera and keep doing that. And then I realized, oh, no, the way you're supposed to do that and get a better time is you keep a fist in the camera the whole time and just quickly put up the fingers. So when I did it the second time, it was significantly faster because it was, you know, I didn't have to constantly pull in and out with my hand. And that was a really cool game because I hadn't used that IR camera since playing 1-2 Switch on the launch.
War gamed it. You made it great.
So what?
You war gamed it. You made it work. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's the same thing when you're doing double task. If you keep your left thumb over by the hurdles, you just tap it every time you need to jump the hurdle instead of moving your right hand up.
Right hand. It's like that's a good idea. I didn't even think about that. I was using
wargaming. Gotta wargame this stuff.
But yeah, so when I redid the test, I got a brain age of 37, which is my actual age, and they said like, oh, that's actually your age. That's very good. So it definitely helped playing, and I didn't do like 100 different things. I did a little bit of Germ Buster, which has a really cool remix of Dr. Mario's theme. I don't know if you play with the volume on, but it has a really cool remix of Dr. Mario.
Oh, it'll be at the end of this episode.
Yeah, But because it is, and that's actually Dr. Mario World. That's the mobile game of Dr. Mario on the phone. Is exactly what Germbuster is with the touch and everything, which I found kind of funny. But yeah, I didn't unlock it all. There's a piano game which I didn't exactly enjoy either, just because I didn't know where the keys were. Like, it's if I knew piano, it'd be a lot more fun.
They were labeled, so you kind of had to like look and do it slowly.
Yes, I do it slowly. I couldn't play fast.
Like when I was doing it, I actually never got any errors, and it was like really nice. But I didn't know what song it was until I like heard it later, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what that song's supposed to be. But in reality, mine's like ding, 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 like real slow while I'm playing.
I recognized the song, but it was like when it came up like C, D, F, and I was like, all right, where are those in the keys? Because like if this was violin, my fingers would be doing it just normally because I played it for so many years. But piano, if you said where's the C key, I'd be like, I don't know, it's on the left or the right. Like I don't know those things. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and like you, I'm really shocked this didn't come here. My wife actually started playing it with me. She was like, oh yeah, I love Brain Age on the DS. I want to play, so she's been playing it every day too.
Nice.
And she's like, I do wish that this was kind of digital, just so that, and again, it's one of those quick check games. It would benefit from being digital. And I did check, it's not on the American eShop, but it is on the European eShop, so you can create a European account and download it that way. I don't know if we're gonna do that or just keep popping the cartridge in and out and swapping.
Can I say one thing though? And it's funny because I never. Oh, I'm gonna say it anyway. I never thought about it, but I've had people go like, oh, if you buy a international game, can you play online? And for some reason, I just don't know if I normally just play with U.S. games. But this one clearly shows, we're both playing with European copies and we're playing online with the global ranking with our U.S. account. So, yes, you absolutely can. So I kind of just wanted to say that because I'm not sure if everybody knows that. I definitely didn't know off the top of my head. But it's nice that the Switch is region free because we can enjoy this game and you can import it. For honestly, like, it's not expensive to import because you can go to Shop for Megastore, you could go to Amazon UK, you could go to base.com, and they all come with the stylus inside the case, which is also a nice little bonus goodie that you get for getting this game.
This is a good quality too. It's hefty.
Yeah, it's really nice, and I think it's probably around the same heftiness as the Mario Maker 2 one that was available.
Way better. I have
Which one's better?
The Brain Age one is better. It's much thicker and heavier. It's same length, same width, but it's just heftier. I'm holding both of my hands right now. The actual tip is like almost like cloth for the Brain Age one, whereas it's rubber for Mario Maker 2.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
Yeah, but they're almost the same like stylus, which is pretty crazy, but it's like heftier for Brain Age. I don't know. It's weird.
Nice. So anybody have any final thoughts on the game?
I mean, I recommend it. It's fun.
Yeah, me too.
It's great.
Yep.
I wish that they would do a US version. It could be digitally only for all I care because, like we all mentioned, it would be better as a digital only, ironically. We already have it physically. I know Barry doesn't want to double dip, so don't bring it physically for Barry. Don't bring it physically for Barry, but it would be great to be able to, have more people participate with the online competitions.
Yeah, and I will say... Sorry, Barry.
Not just for me, but for JP too, because JP would have to buy it a second time digitally or physically because that is a different name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't. And again, that doesn't bother me. It's so infrequent where I have to really double dip. But I will say this: if you're thinking of getting it, I'm on shopformegastore.com right now. It says limited availability, so they have a few copies left. It's $32 with free shipping, and it comes with a stylus. So honestly, that's probably a better price than even what we paid for it when it came out. So if you're thinking about getting it, Shop for Megastore has it right now, and you can get it.
Right now.
Right now.
I'm really shocked, though, because the other 3 Brain Age games all came to America. And Brain Age was very successful on the DS as part of their Blue Ocean strategy. And they even did, like, the Brain Academy and the Big Brain Academy on like the Wii, also successful for their Blue Ocean strategy. And it seems like the Switch has been like the best of both worlds. I'm really shocked didn't. I mean, it's already in English. It's already translated. Like NOA all they would have to do is change the name to Brain Age and call it whatever. Brain Age for Nintendo Switch is probably
If they
as
want
lazy as
to.
it would be. No, they would because it's name recognition.
Uh,
Like in Europe, I believe they're all brain training. In America, it's always been Brain Age.
If they called it
Uh,
Brain Age, they probably would have had more sales.
Yeah, it's a very well known IP. And even like the 3DS had like the concentration training, so it's shocked that they didn't bring it here, and they probably would be lazy in Nintendo fashion, just call it Brain Age for Nintendo Switch, which is exactly what they did for Europe, and I think it would sell. I think it would sell well. I think it would target the demographic that got the Switch. Maybe they got the Switch for Animal Crossing. They're not super hardcore gamers. Maybe they had a Wii. I mean, 100 million people had a Wii, and they might recognize these type of games. Or DS with 145 million. A lot of people had Brain Age. Oh, really cool. Now I can get that. I don't have to get my old DS out. I love that. I think it would sell, and especially right now with COVID, where we don't know what they're doing. This seems like an easy filler to game to fill their library or their calendar at least, because it's already in English. It's done.
So do you know what else Indies Zero did? I just looked it up. They did NES Remix 1 and 2.
Which is another Wii U title that could come over to the Switch.
And on the Switch, Sushi Striker Way of the Sushido they did.
3DS as well, right?
Yep. But they did the Switch, so they did have another Switch game, and it was released in the U.S. by Indie Zero for anybody who's interested in checking out their work. That's one game I didn't buy for the Switch, but still, cool.
Very cool. I heard that was one game that's better on the 3DS because it was designed for the 3DS and then just ported to the Switch.
Oh, and I did criticize the third game of Game Center CX. It actually wasn't developed by Indie Zero. So, there we go. That's why. They actually didn't develop it, so that's why it didn't have the same feel. Makes sense now, see? It all comes around. Full circle.
Are they just partners, or are they second party with Nintendo, or like
So they've been developing with Nintendo since '97 on the Super Nintendo. They did some Satellaview games.
Nice.
And so they worked on Mario Party E for the Game Boy Advance. They've worked on a lot of gimmicky, more like multi games, like NES Remix or even Game Center. And they've just been working hand in hand with Nintendo and Square, because they also did theater rhythm games.
I love theater rhythm games.
Yeah, they did Final Fantasy Curtain Crawl, and Dragon Quest.
That explains why I like those. They're a good studio.
Oh yeah, they're really crazy. The guy who founded it when he was 24. Founded the company, and
with the Wii U ports coming over and NES Remix being one of them that didn't come over, could you imagine if they do that and do like an SNES Remix as well? Like that's so easy to do in the hindsight, and I think that would sell really well right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many cool things that they're working on, that it's just a solid company. I like seeing that they're still releasing things. I wish they would bring this game stateside.
But it is very import friendly.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
I'm actually surprised that they don't have just like Professor Mario and just advertise it that way in the U.S. I feel like, wouldn't that just sell even better?
I mean, but then you'd have people complaining that Nintendo's not trying to do, their own IPs, new IPs.
I would say no, and the reason being is Dr. Kawashima is actually like his own character in the Nintendo universe. He's an assist trophy in Smash Brothers to represent Brain Age. So
Demon Kawashima.
That's a good point.
They do count it as its own IP, and there's no reason to bring it into the Mario umbrella.
Yeah, that's true. So I don't think we did a poll or anything, so we can go into what we're going to play for the game of the week, and I think we're doing something new for the game of the week.
Yes, go.
So yeah, Barry was like, hey, what are we going to do for Mario game, for Mario 35? And I was like, let's play Super Mario World on Switch Online. But I do want to up the ante. I think also, as a follow-up to our Mario Maker 2, we should try each playing a world on Super Mario Maker 2, like one of the actual worlds that somebody creates.
Oh, that could go horribly wrong.
Yes. So any of the listeners right now, if you've created a world, give us your code, and we will play
okay.
your
I like
world. Otherwise, we all can try it. My recommendation when you go on there is look for one that has a lot of followers. So if you look on there, there'll be a bunch of numbers next to all the worlds. If you pick one with a giant play list, usually it's fair. The one thing that you guys don't realize is it's no longer like Kaizo Mario where they try to kill you all the time. Like, people are making comprehensive worlds. I was playing one over the weekend because I tend to just play it for fun now. And I was playing it like 2 nights ago on Friday night, Saturday night. I was playing on Saturday night, and it was like literally somebody was remaking Super Mario 3D World levels in 2D. And
Nice.
it was fun, and there's tons of power-ups, and it's not super difficult. Some of those, be wary that once you get to the second, third world, the kid gloves come off, and then it becomes crazy. I've seen that too. But I think that we should all play through some Mario World. You guys noticed that I played Mario 3 in my Nintendo like a few weeks ago, where I just played it and beat it. But I'm probably going to play it and likely go my classic speedrun route of the Star World and see how long it takes me to beat Mario World. Classics. So join us with some Super Mario World on Nintendo Switch Online.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Oh yeah. So, Barry, did you do the dollar challenge? JP did not.
Did do the dollar challenge?
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm out.
I did the challenge. I didn't tweet about it, but I did do the dollar challenge.
I did as well. I did it last weekend. I may or may not do it this week. We'll see. But I'll let you go first, Barry.
All right, so I did a game called Not a Brain Buster, which was a game that I got for free. It was part of the Cubic Games freebie game, so it was cool. It was a free thing. What's funny about this game is I first looked at it, and it was 99 cents on sale, and I almost made it my dollar challenge game a couple weekends ago when I did the motorcycle game, but I didn't, and then I found out, like, oh yeah, if you had the coloring book, all these went even lower than $1. They went to free. So I'm like, oh well, I'm really glad I didn't purchase it for 99 cents now, and I got it for free. And I'm like, you know what? I was gonna make it a couple weekends or a couple episodes ago. Let me do it now. So I started playing it, and it's you are on a cube, and you are a person on a cube, and you have to go in one of 4 directions: up, down, left, right, no diagonals, and you go based on what it tells you. So if it says down, you go down. If it says right, you go right. Simple as that. You have to do, 20, 25, 30 times of doing that. So the first time I was like, oh, this is really simple. This is nothing. So then they start introducing not. So you goes up, then not up. And like you're just like, oh, I'm going up. Oh no, now you have to go any other direction but up. So when you start mastering that, then they start adding colors to the sides, and now it would be like go green, and like the top might be blue, the bottom might be blue, the right might be red, and the left might be green, and then you have to go left. Sometimes 3 out of the 4 of them will be green, so you can go any of those 4 directions. Then they start doing not green, not red, not. Then they start adding together and doing like green and up. And even though it's clearly you just have to go up, green is going to be there no matter what. Your brain's still like trying to match the 2 of them together, and you have like 5 seconds to make your decision. So it's not like I can sit there and think about it. You have to be quick, and you have to do like 30 of these. So very much like a brain age kind of deal. And then they start going crazier where they go not. So like not up. And then not up. And like you wait, hold on, you have to try to process all this. And we're adding colors and all this crazy stuff. And it's that type of gameplay that's so simple. It's beyond simple. But it's like when you mess up, you're like, oh, one more try. I got this. I'm not going to make that same mistake. And every time it's different. Like the rules of each round are the same. So like if you're in a color round, it's always going to be color. But if you went like yellow first, the next time it might be red. So you can't memorize patterns. And there's 3 difficulties per style and they just keep unlocking new modes and new challenges, and it just gets more and more difficult. And it's very fun, very simple, but it really is a nice compliment to Brain Age. So I'm like, oh, it's perfect for this week.
Sounds cool. Mine was weird because I found a game that I had on my wish list for a while, and it was normally $5. I got it for 23 cents. The game's called Avenger Bird, and so it's a platformer game, almost like a little bit of Metroidvania in it, a side-scrolling pixel art adventure game, and it's terrible. Like, I thought it was gonna be good. It looks so good, and that's the thing where like I'm consistently fooled by like awesome looking graphics that I think are retro style and great. The issue that I have is that the double jump is super weak. So when you're jumping, it doesn't have that classic where you're jumping like 2 or 3 times the height of your character, and you have to do like a glide to be able to pull off, but it's really inconsistent because like they have like some pixel perfect jumps where you got to jump at the apex of your button press, and you have to hit it again at the same time and then glide perfectly, and you may get it, but you can do that perfectly 10 times and only make it one the last time. You do it the exact same way 9 other times in a row and it doesn't work, and it literally, the pixel perfect timing is a flaw in gameplay design that really, if they would have just give you a little bit more, leeway with those jumps, the game would have been really great, actually. It would have been awesome. But the fact that the controls just don't mesh well with me, it was an unfortunate thing. It was released, looks like last year in February 5th, 2019. Really bad reviews, too. Like, it just says it's slow, sluggish collectathon. It's a grind, a chore, and dull. That's what another guy said. Once the appeals to nostalgia have been set aside, we're left with one disappointing and incompetent work, which fails at being a proper tribute to that era of gaming. Unreliable controls, frustrating gameplay, and poor level design make Avenger Bird a game that simply does not fulfill any of its objections. And both of those are negative reviews. Got 30 out of 100, 4 out of 10s. And it was a miss. Unfortunately, because I wanted to like it. I really did. It looked cool. Didn't. So I definitely didn't win this time. By default, Barry chose the less shitty game out of them.
Mine was not even shitty. Mine was fun.
Yours was fun. That's what I'm saying.
I still enjoy it. I think it's a good game. I recommend Mike.
Barry, you don't have to oversell it. You win. You keep that up, JP's going to win by selecting nothing.
I mean, I play the game, but I just didn't play a dollar challenge game.
Yeah, I played a lot of games that were not in $.
I really won because at the end of the day, I finished Future Connected for Xenoblade Chronicles.
Ooh.
How did you like it? Oh, I loved it. I know Jeff said that he didn't enjoy it as much as the full game itself, and I agree. But I will say, for me, Jeff hates numbers, but I give it an 8 out of 10 because it's very solid. And I actually ended up liking they're Nopons, right? I think they're called. I ended up liking them a lot more than I liked them when I first saw them in the main game. The 2 characters really grew on me. I really liked the combination, Amelia, Shulk, and the 2 of them. And I had a blast playing it.
Did you do all like the heart-to-hearts? Because there were some really good ones in there.
So I didn't. I need to go back and do all of those. I did collect all 12 of the archaeologists. And I did pretty much, I want to say I did 99% of the side quests. There was 2 that for some reason I had completed the challenge and they said, go talk to this person. And at no point in the game could I find them. I went online. I went exactly where it should be. I changed the time to like every single hour. And they just never reappeared. So I have no idea if it was a glitch on my end or something. But other than that, I did pretty much all the side quests that it had.
Did you do the final Nopon Pawn Spectre one where you have to fight the big dragon?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, and I guess to be fair to all the listeners, I played it on easy mode because I really just wanted to experience the story and finish it, and I just didn't have time to level grind like crazy. So easy mode allowed me to easily go through it, level up very fast. But like even with the dragon, I still couldn't beat it like where I was at like level 72, 74. I had to level up to around 80 for me, or close to 80 to actually beat it. But I had a blast. I mean, it really is a nice addition to the story. Really nice area because it's the shoulder, right, of the
Bionis.
And I mean, it's funny. I did a poll over the weekend and I said, which game, if you've played both, do you like better? And I did Breath of the Wild and I did Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. And Zelda won like 2-3. I mean,
I voted
like
for Zelda.
Yeah, it was 66% for Zelda, like 21% for Xenoblade. And I didn't give my answer because I was like, it's just a poll. And I will say here, I think I like Xenoblade Chronicles a lot better.
Yeah.
Now you have to move on to 2.
What?
Now you have to move on to 2.
And I want to. I mean, for me,
No
Breath,
way.
not to go too much on a tangent, Breath of the Wild, I mean, I thought was beautiful. I really like the open world, especially in universes and worlds that you enjoy. So, like, it's not just a standalone game that you've never heard of before, but, like, in Zelda, you know the characters, and then to just go around wherever you want. But Xenoblade, for me, I just thought it was so beautiful. And it's funny because it's essentially a Wii game from 10 years ago. But I was so impressed by the landscape, the music, and just really how tight the game was. I mean, like jumping around to the different points, manipulating the clock. I love that game so much. So I had about 90 hours total between the game and the epilogue. I do want to go into 2, like no doubt. I just don't think I have the energy right now to
Xeno was cool and is very comparable to like Final Fantasy VII, whereas like Breath of the Wild is completely open world. Like it's 1,000,000% open world, way different like style. I would almost compare like, all right, do you like Breath of the Wild or do you like Grand Theft Auto 5? Like in reality, like you like going and running over people and shooting weapons, or do you like going into a medieval style or Skyrim? Skyrim would be another example of like Breath of the Wild, like giant, massive open world. Witcher 3, another one. Whereas Xenoblade is an RPG where it's very corridor-ish, where you go and follow paths, and you can branch off to multiple spots. You 100% get led to where you need to go. There's a damn beacon that you follow. So like you literally go from point A to point B, which was an amazing immersive world, and it was awesome. But definitely a different genre than Breath of the Wild, 100%.
I will say though that I never like. I agree with you. Like we can't really call it an open world, but to me, the way that the game progressed, I never felt as if it wasn't an open world because you started out and it is a linear story for the most part, and so you're opening up areas as you need to get to them, but then you can jump and for the most part go to anywhere. Sometimes they lock it off. But to me, I just never felt like it wasn't an open world because I could easily travel to anywhere on the Bionis when I needed to.
Yeah,
but you're right,
it's
not. What?
Yeah, you could fast travel, which was good.
Yeah, but yeah, I just I mean, overall, both games are fantastic, and I would say must owns on the Switch for their own reasons. So I am glad that we got to play this. I'm glad I finally got to play Xenoblade because it's up there as one.
And we have a whole episode that we talked about it for like 3 hours, which was awesome. Definitely covered it holistically. And I'm not gonna lie, there's no in a hell in our current state with the company that I'm gonna have time to put into 100+ hour RPG again, until we stop producing Switch games for everyone. Because my 100% of my time has been into premium edition games right now, so there's no way I'm gonna have time to work on anything outside of the company. So
fair enough.
Yeah, because we're playing the games that we're releasing too, so it's
So can I say something, Jeff? Completely separate, but you brought it up before, and I just saw it somewhere else.
Uh-oh.
So I just wanted to. You mentioned that on this we should be reading mean tweets.
Yes.
Because it would be funny. And I am, of course I'm on Twitter, and Special Reserve Games says, extra, extra, get your mean tweets here. And they're doing mean tweets. And I think that's funny because it's a fun thing.
And if you don't think the Special Reserve listens to Switchmania Playcast, there's your proof, everyone. They listen to us. We've been talking about mean tweets now for weeks.
So we gotta do it soon too.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, most of our sad tweets were for things that we've addressed. There's only been ones that literally say, "Oh, this game sucks." It's like, well, that's all perspective.
My favorite though was on Facebook, and I'm gonna butcher it, but one person was like, $40. They could have at least made it a 16-bit game, and then somebody was like, "Well, it's $5 a bit," and I was like, that was a really good reply.
Well, and if you think that you can put those type of graphics that are in Super Blood Hockey on the NES, like you've not played the NES in a while, because it's 4-color palette. Like, there's no way. It's just classic. But yeah, a lot of the classic ones were like I'll post a meme or something like, you're entitled, you can feel you're entitled your way to feel.
Yeah, I have learned that people don't like it when you respond back to their negative comment with a funny meme, and they go like, "What? We're not allowed to have an opinion?" And it's like, that's exactly what I'm doing too. My
meme said that you're allowed to feel. Like, I was like, there's everyone's. I try not to respond to any of the negativity, but sometimes I can't help myself and I just have fun with it. Yeah. So if I have fun with things, usually I get lectured by JP, but I'm still gonna have fun sometimes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have one rule for Jeff, and I'm like, don't talk on social media. That's the only rule I have for him in the entire company.
And I still will.
And he breaks that one rule. No, it's all good. We show love to everybody.
But in reality, there's not been a whole lot. I mean, a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's too much money for a game," but I'm like, you do realize that Nintendo doesn't allow us to charge less than like $30. So I've never seen an under $30 retail game because they don't want the classic Wii shovelware anymore. So technically, the lowest you could possibly go, and as we grow as a company, maybe we can get our price per game down, but we would have to order way more than 5,000 copies.
I will say that I agree, but there are instances, like at Best Buy, we have seen their 1999 selection, and it's only been like 5 games.
Are you talking about like Nintendo Selects?
No, so they've had Katamari Damacy in the $20, Sonic Mania on its own at the $20, but for the most part,
those are all re-releases too. Yeah, those are all re-releases too.
Yeah, Sonic Mania. All right, to be fair, Sonic Mania was the first time that on its own as a cartridge it came out at 20. But you're right, the other games had come out at higher price points previously. So I had heard the same thing, like around $30 is where the baseline price is. But the other thing that at some point we really need to address it, maybe in the longer section of our show, but people look at the price of an eShop game and then they compare it to the physical price. And to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, you two, but I don't feel that's always a fair justification of what the price should be, because you're looking at the scale as opposed to physical items besides just and to us, it's like we don't look at the price of the game. We look at the quality of the game. We look at a lot of other factors that's not necessarily the price. And we're not really basing our physical price on that. But I think a lot of people tend to do that. And I think that's where they start getting this distortion of, oh, it's a fun game, but, I got it for sale that one time for $3. Like, it's not a $40 game. It's like, okay, you got it for sale. Like, anything can go on sale, but that's not what the MSRP price was when it came out. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just, I think it hurts not just us. I think it just hurts physical games in general a lot of times.
Well, and that also negates any physical item we put into the whole physical package. So if we just did a cartridge with a single side printing of a insert, then yeah, we could absolutely charge $30 all day, like too easy. Yeah. But if we're actually doing double-sided printing costs more money, everyone. Doing a manual costs money to make. Like, it costs money to print. It costs money to produce. We're doing a card. We're doing a slipcase. We're hiring artists to do these things. Like, it's all costs money. And if we, want to, do a lackluster bare bones release, then those same people and others will be like, well, why are you just doing a bare bones release? Yeah. And so you lose or you lose, and the price is there because we're putting more into the package, and so are all the other companies. All the other limited companies are doing the same thing. So I said all of the other, where I included us with them, because we are in their boat whether we want to or not. We would love to just release retail games infinitely, like Super Mario Brothers.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing is that we aren't releasing games for money, right? We're not looking to become millionaires by doing this, and we're not looking to just release a game. We're looking to release a quality game that's filled to the brim, as Jeff mentioned in Direct. But it's true, right? You open up a game nowadays, and for the most part, you see nothing inside, or if you're lucky, you see all the legal mumbo jumbo and the warning on the inside of the artwork. And for us, we want every one of our games to feel special, as dorky as that sounds, but it's true. We wanted to have that real manual, the nice artwork, the additional goodies. I mean, that's really why all of us are doing this. We're not doing this just to put out a game on a cartridge. Like, if we want to do that, yeah, like Jeff said, we could lower the price, but that's not our aim. We want these releases to feel special and feel like how they should have used to be done in the past. Like, you open up an NES box or a Super Nintendo box, and you get a lot of stuff inside. You didn't just get a cartridge. And I think, sadly, a lot of people have forgotten that it used to be really, really nice what you would get. You'd get the maps, you'd get the real thick manuals, you'd get, maybe you would get like a promo card or something like that. And, this is how we can bring that back. And that's why we want to do all these really cool additional things.
That's right. What about you, Barry? You've been quiet.
Guys talk. I think this newer era of generations of gamers, it's a lot about instant gratification, and it's just about, hey, you know what? I'm only going to care about the game, and you know what? That's fine. If that's what you want, you're going to get the game. You're going to wait. You're going to get the game for $3. The Steam sale goes on, and you buy 1,000 games that you're never going to play. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what you want to do. It's what you want to do. But when you look at a physical product, you're going to have to realize there's extra costs that come into that. But you're also getting a lot of extra goodies, and a lot of those are really cool physical items that you'll get to keep. And the funny thing is, and I think we're going to see this more as the years go on, when the servers start shutting down and people start getting nostalgic for games, and they realize the only way they can now get that game is by physical, and you're going to see those physical prices go up, and people are going to start saying, you know what, I wish I had just grabbed it physical to begin with. I wish I had it and owned it when it was cheaper. And I'm noticing a lot of companies now, even bigger companies, are doing small prints, and they're not reprinting. And even now, current games just that were just released months ago have started skyrocketing because there's more demand than there is supply. And it's crazy to think about this, because as a collector, there's one thing that I call the Renaissance, which is 20 years after a console launches, the prices really skyrocket. Like right now, we're seeing GameCube games really skyrocket. We're seeing Dreamcast games skyrocket. Even PS2 and Xbox games are going up, because we're in that Renaissance area where the people who grew up with those games are now in their 20s. They have got disposable income, and they want to relive their childhood. I think it's going to be interesting and telling when it comes to that point where the digital era is hitting that renaissance, and people want to go back and relive those games, and they can't because those servers are now shut down. And the only games they can replay are those physical, and how is that going to drive those prices? And I'm interested to see how it goes. It can go either way. People could say, screw it, it's not worth it, or I've moved on. Or they could say, absolutely, I'm willing to pay $200 for this game that I could have had for $3 because I absolutely wanted physical, and there's so few physical copies out there. This is my only way to play. I think it really depends on whether you want to have the game for the long haul, or you just want to play the game and move on. And a lot of people will play the game, move on, and never look back. They'll never replay games. Like Jeff was saying, how he plays Mario 64 every year. There's a lot of people who play the same game every year. They go back, or they'll go back. If they beat a game and it has like a new game plus, they'll leave it alone for a bit, and then they'll come back a couple of years later when it's often forgotten about a lot of the stuff, and replay as a new game plus, and they kind of get two games out of it. I think a lot of people this generation have a shorter attention span, and they're happy with instant gratification. And something I've noticed with myself, when I get a game digitally, whether it be like a review code or even like the under $1 challenge and stuff like that, I seem to care less about the game. Like, just for me, like, I play the game and I don't always go in on it 100%, or it's like, I really don't give a crap if I finish this or not. Like, it almost feels like it doesn't exist. Like, it's just a time killer. Whereas when it's a physical game and I'm putting it in, like I feel that sense of ownership, and I'm like, no, I really want to get the most out of this game. I feel that closer tied to it. I don't know if that's just me or if other people feel that way, but it is an interesting shift. But obviously, physical media is going to cost more. It has to be produced. But as long as you're getting some cool stuff with it, and again, remember, you're getting it for life. You're not just getting a license. You're not just getting it till the server shut down or your hard drive dies. And you can also share that with other people. Like I just mentioned with brain training, my wife started doing it with me. So we were able to take that one cart and boom, instantly pass between the two of us. We both can enjoy, and instead of buying the game twice, which is what we would have had to do otherwise with a digital game. So there are definitely some benefits there that people often overlook.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually doing what I did for JP like a week or two ago, where I was counting. JP said I got. Now it was how many different branches off the river did Barry go with that time? There was a lot. And he's learning from JP, no breathing, because otherwise JP will come in and talk. It's good.
Clearly, you have your River Raiders patch ready to go down these rivers with me.
That's right. I have my River Raider patch. No, yeah, it's interesting to see. It's all different perspectives. I do think physically is a way to preserve, which is great. Which is also why we're doing this, is to preserve, but also we're unlike most. We're going over all the history pieces in our items, not just if we're doing a premium guide or premium book with it, but also like even in the manuals we're doing this stuff, and on our website where we've had multiple interviews up over the last week as well. And we're going to be continue doing that for every release we do, as we're chatting with the developers, we're going over people's inspirations, like why they think something's cool, and it allows a better appreciation and goes a little deeper into the nuances behind every game. It's really cool.
Agreed.
So, should we go over what we got in?
Yeah.
Mine's great again. I got in no Switch games again. It's great. It's great.
Oh my God.
I did get in Max Reload in the Nether Blasters on Blu-ray, though, which
Nice.
literally has weapons that are like the Super Scope from Nintendo and the Power Glove, and like I have not watched it yet. I've been wanting to. John Gamester 81 is in it. John Lester. He's in the game, or he's in the game.
Right.
He's in the show. So it's really cool. There's also Greg Grunberg, and of course Kevin Smith's in it.
Nice.
It's all retro gaming based, which is right up my alley, pun intended. But yeah, I mean, I've not been as I've been on my purchase hold. I have pre-ordered some games. I mean, I am still pre-ordering games, everyone. But you realize, and it's part like we're also right now in our pre-order window of Super Blood Hockey, so we're not perfect from that aspect either. But when I'm pre-ordering any game, I don't get the game for months. So even though I've been spending some money, I'll spend not like Barry and JP spending $500 to $1,000 a week, but I'm I'm spending like $60 getting a game or something. Like, I mean, I pre-ordered Mario 3D obviously, so I can get it on day one. But I don't have it in hand, so didn't get any games this week. All right, so who usually gets less games? I don't know, between the two of you.
Oh,
Barry.
He gets like all the Spanish physicals and stuff.
Hey, I did get in over, hundreds of copies of Tower of Turmoil in, so I did get that, which is my NES game.
Yeah. I'm waiting for that to come in.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on the boxes, the manuals, and the sleeves, which are all being done by Frank. I'm waiting all those to arrive. He hasn't shipped them out yet, so then I can assemble and get them all shipped out. But I'm waiting.
Nice.
All right, Barry.
So I'll go. So I got, once again, I've completed the Wii U set because my Shakedown Hawaii and Collector's Edition version of that came in. So once again, I'm sitting at the full set until someone else decides out of the woodwork we're going to throw a Wii U game out there. So that's not Switch related, but
You're welcome in the future.
I got my super rare, the 3-pack, the latest 3-pack they had, the SteamWorld Heist with Dig and Chroma Squad and OMG. That came over, or OSM. Then I also got MX versus ATV All Out came in. Ari came in, which I've heard really bad things about, and I'm just really sad about. This came out last week, but I finally got it this week, which was the Street Power Soccer. I didn't get the football version as well, just the soccer.
Boo!
My copy of Missing came in from the Best Buy version of that. The latest Switch Player magazine came in, and then just something not actually on the Switch, but just something I didn't know existed, and when I found out, I said I have to pick this up. On the PS2, I didn't know they released it here in America. There was a Final Fantasy XI beta version to that game, and when I saw that, I absolutely had to get it because that game is beyond special to me, and I thought that was really cool that they actually released a physical beta of an online only game. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna pick that up and add that to the collection.
Is JP getting anxiety, or were you tracking that?
Me for
No,
PS2?
Too.
No.
Switch only.
Yeah, I'm good with that. But I'm glad you were able to get it. Was it a fair price, or are they expensive?
They're very expensive, and I managed to work out a deal, thankfully, with the seller.
Nice.
So I was able to get it for a fair price. But that's the game that I actually met my wife on. So it's one of those where, all right, I really want to have that because I started on the PS2 version as well. So it is special to me. So that's more sentimentality in terms of collectors as well.
Nice. I'm glad you're able to find one.
What about you, JP? What you get in?
Sure. So a lot of the same Switch games as you. I got Nexomon Extinction. So mine came in a few days later. I got Chromo Squad from Super Rare Games. I don't know what else I got. Oh, okay, I got the Football Tactics and Glory. So this game actually came out a while ago in the U.S. called Soccer Tactics and Glory, which is like a soccer simulation type game. And in the U.K., it just released under Football Tactics and Glory. Same cover. The only difference was, the word. And what's interesting that I didn't even realize is that on the U.S. version, even though it said soccer on the front, it all referenced football on the back. So the back cover was identical. Also, it's laziness on the U.S. part. I got in My Universe, My Baby, because when I'm not taking care of my real kids, I want to take care of fake ones. I got in Ari and the Secret of Seasons. I got in. Oh, I'm saying I got again. Oh boy.
You've said it every time.
I did. All right. What came in was MX versus ATV All Out, and I can say I did play this one. It's a fun game. It has a huge soundtrack. Like Offspring is in there, My Chemical Romance, a lot of real bands, and then I think some instrumental pieces. But the gameplay is fairly solid. I'll say fairly, but there's a lot of content in there. The one thing I don't like is that there's a lot of different options, right? There's the open free mode. There's, indoor tracks, outdoor tracks. There's different types of races. And while the list is exhaustive for each one, you'll notice icons next to some of them. And I didn't know what they were. So I click on it and it's like, oh, you can get this off of the eShop. And I'm like, oh, I do not like having to pay for stuff to make my physical game more complete. So this game is not complete on cart because there's a number of tracks that you have to purchase off of the eShop, which stinks. But on the cart itself, there's plenty to keep you busy, so it's not like it's bare bones. I just wanted to throw that out there in case people didn't know. Then the Shmup Collection ESRB release from VGNY Soft came in. Let's see what else. Oh, yeah, and then the weekend was really good to me. So Buried Stars Survivors Edition, which is a Korean release that supports English, that came out. This one sold out in about 5 minutes overseas, so I was very fortunate to be able to get one. And this might be the biggest box collector edition that I have now. I posted pictures of it, but the thing is massive. Additionally, from Korea, the physical of the Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion packs came in. And even though I can't redeem it, there is a actual cartridge or an actual case for this expansion, so of course, I had to pick it up. Additionally, from Strictly Limited Games, the Darius Cosmic Collection came in, and I had gotten the collector version of it, and the thing is just humongous. Art book, arcade sheets, double 2 CD soundtrack, little art prints. It was a really nice collection. Other than that, I also got in Giraffe and Annika Musical Mayhem Edition. And I did pick up over the weekend the missing Best Buy version from Best Buy. And it was my first Sky pick in months, since like March. So I was very happy to be able to do that. My Switch Player magazine came in. And then that was it for the mail. So that was a light week.
I did get a Nintendo Force.
Nice.
Yeah, that was actually one where it has Super Mario Brothers, and they made some predictions on the Mario 3D collection that were pretty accurate.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because it was obviously in print way before last week.
Mm-hmm. Now, I will say there were more games that came out, but of course they haven't arrived yet. But yeah, last week was busy, and this week, since we're recording on Monday, is a pretty heavy week as well for imports.
It is that time of the month. It is that time of the month, JP. Pretty heavy.
Right.
Pretty heavy week.
So September is in. So because it's Monday, if you haven't already, you may have missed out on the Grandia HD Collection and Ease Origin pre-orders from Limited Run because they closed on Sunday. But on Tuesday, Minecraft Dungeons Hero Edition is coming out retail. Also in Asia, Obakadoro Catch Me If You Can Monsters is getting an Asia English release, meaning it's an English cover. But this game did release previously in Japan, and it did support English. So the only difference this time is really, the cover's fully in English. But that's coming out on Tuesday. Then also, through Limited Run's distribution program, Oddworld Stranger's Wrath HD Collector's Edition is coming out. Looks to be exclusive through them. So it's going to be the standard case that we got, in retail, not the collector edition one, but it comes with a CD soundtrack, 3 art cards, a plush, a poster, and a collector box. That goes up in limited pre-order on Tuesday, but they haven't stated how much or how many they're getting yet. So my weekly release post will be updated once that information comes out. Then also on Tuesday, RPG Maker MV, which is, I don't know what number that is. I don't know my Roman numerals. Nobody else does either.
Figure that out, JP.
Okay. So RPG Maker MV comes out, and there's going to be a regular and a limited edition. The limited is through the NISA store. This game did come out in Japan previously, and it did support English, but now we're finally getting it over here as well. Then on Thursday, September 10th, Tin and Kuno is coming out from Axis Games. That's just a regular retail release. In Japan, Tomoyo After, it's a Wonderful Life CS edition, which is a visual novel game, is coming out. And it does support English, and on the cover it says Japanese text English, that you can switch it, so we know it supports it. Then also on Friday, September 11th, Bounty Battle, the Ultimate Indie Brawler, is getting released by Merge Games. There's also a signature edition, collector edition, through their website. And for those who don't know, we were supposed to get this in the U.S., and then it was canceled. So we are not getting a ESRB release of this. So you're going to have to import it if you want it. But it looks cool because it's a lot of indie, it's obviously a Smash type of game, but with indie characters. So you have characters from Dead Cells, Guacamole, Darkest Dungeon, Flint Hook, and much more. So it looks pretty cool. And then the collector edition from Signature Edition comes with pins, a character guide booklet, art card, and their collector box. Also in the UK, Holy Potatoes Compendium, which has 3 games in one. It's Holy Potatoes What the Hell, Holy Potatoes We're in Space, and Holy Potatoes A Weapon Shop is coming out from Numbskull Games. As of now, there's no official announcement of a US release, so it's import only. But Numbskull is doing their regular and badge edition, where you get 5 hard enamel pins included, in a special box. Then also, Inertial Drift is coming out. And again, what many may not know is that this game was supposed to come out in the US from P-Cube, and it got canceled. So it's a UK edition only. And if my information is correct, on Game UK's website, it said exclusive to them. And I did not see this on Amazon UK or Shop for Megastore, but Video Games Plus in Canada is carrying this UK title. So if you want to import it, Video Games Plus is your best bet and the most affordable price. So that's where I pre-ordered mine. Pode, P-O-D-E, is coming out. There's a regular and an artist edition. This is
P-O'd,
UK only.
actually.
P-O'd?
Pissed off.
Uh-huh. Uh, so the regular and the artist edition, which is their collector edition, is UK only. The collector edition comes with a collector box, game, coloring art book, holographic card and sticker, a boulder and glow magnets, which are the characters in the game, and a papercraft diorama. Then on Friday, also, we've got some new pre-orders that a lot of people have been looking forward to, and it's Shantae. So we have the Game Boy Color re-release coming out from Limited. So these are all limited run games.
Gross.
So we have what, Jeff?
It's a gross Game Boy Color re-release.
Well, let's talk about that after I get through these last
gross.
few.
It's gross.
Okay. So the Game Boy Color, if you're into that, is coming out. Then also for the Switch, Shantae Regular and Collector's Edition, and also Shantae's Risky Revenge Regular and Collector Edition will be
cool.
open.
That's cool.
Yeah, there will be both of the versions for both of those games will be a 4-week open pre-order. It starts at 10 a.m. on Friday, goes until Sunday, October 11th at Limited Run Games, and both of them are going to come with, in the collector editions, a steelbook, a soundtrack. You get a coin. You also get a poster, and it looks pretty cool. So that is everything that's coming out or will be available for pre-order this week. So it's another heavy week for us collectors.
Oh yes,
it's crazy. It's getting more and more stressful for me to just. I'm always afraid I'm going to miss something. Like for instance,
you mean FOMO?
Ironically, yeah, well, not even FOMO, but just for my weekly release.
Fear of missing out. You literally just said it.
Yeah, but I meant more so for my weekly release post, not so much buying. I'll find the game at some point, but just keeping everyone informed. I go to all these websites and I constantly keep seeing a game that I did not know about pop up, coming out, or dates change so much that I go to one website, I go to 3 websites, I get 3 different dates sometimes, and I literally have to go to the publisher or the developer and ask them to confirm because you just never know. Like, case in point, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Barry, we just picked up the Street Power Soccer.
Yes.
And you got it at Best Buy, right?
Yeah, I had it pre-ordered at Amazon, and then I saw your post. It was like, oh yeah, it's coming out in Best Buy. I went, wait, what? That's why I got it this week instead of last week, because I realized it and pre-ordered it last week at the very end, and I was like, yeah, I'll be there,
Yeah. So I mentioned that because on Amazon, it's still showing a September 30th date, and it's still not out. So either Best Buy got some, exclusive early release, or whatever happened with Amazon. But this is where I start seeing these multiple dates in the U.S., and then if you go overseas, it's just even crazier. But yeah, it's a fun time for sure, and we're not slowing down. I will tell you that much. Like through the rest of the year, I really don't see slow weeks ahead of us.
As for your numerical thing with the MV, it's not about numbers at all.
Oh.
With RPG Maker, it went like 95, 2000, 2003, then went to like XP, VX, VXA, MV, and it's already an MZ, so it's not numerical. So don't worry.
It's like M is like 50, so it's like 55 or something. So I was like, I don't think there's 55-ish episodes.
I was like, I remember RPG Maker 1 for the PS1. I'm like, I don't remember an MV.
It was a 2.
Getting up there, but
3, I think, was PS2. If I remember correctly.
Could be.
But yeah, this is absolutely just I don't know what the MV stands for, but what's interesting is that MV came out I think like 5 years ago. There's already like MZ, and we're just getting MV now.
Yeah. I was actually surprised that it came out in Japan a while ago with English support. And I think what happened was we were supposed to get it earlier. It just got delayed. I don't know the reason, but I'm pretty sure I saw at some point earlier release dates for this game.
Yeah, it was on NIS America years ago. I pre-ordered it, and I was like, oh, cool. And then they're like, oh yeah, there's been a problem and it's been delayed indefinitely. I was like, oh, that sucks.
Hey, always
but we got it.
That. I mean, we're eventually going to get all of the things, hopefully even brain training or brain age. Get everything.
Mm-hmm.
We will towards the end of the life when there's easy ports.
I mean, it's crazy when my yearly playthroughs of all the classic games I play, I can literally play most of them on the Switch at this point. Like, it's madness. Madness. I think it's time to wrap up. What do you guys think?
Let's do it.
All right. So, thanks everybody for listening. As always, you can get Super Blood Hockey until the 22nd of September. At the time of this recording, you have a couple weeks to still get your pre-order in for Super Blood Hockey physically on the Nintendo Switch from Premium Edition Games with an awesome slip cover done by Mortal Kombat artist Paul Niemeyer. a challenge card that you can earn a patch if you complete the challenge, and the patch is free. I will be shipping them out right now myself personally. And lots and lots of other goodies inside. Classic NES style manuals and all the trimmings. You can find me on Facebook and the Twitter at Hagen's Alley and at Hagen's Alley Books on the Instagrams. Barry?
You can find me on the Twitter at Hawk Hellfire. You can find me on Facebook and on YouTube at Nintendo Fuse. JP?
Yep. So jpswitchmania.com for your weekly release posts. On social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, it's JP Switchmania, but Twitter is where I'm always at. So if you have questions or just want to chat about the Switch or be kept up to date because you just can't wait for this weekly podcast, go to Twitter, JP Switchmania. We have giveaways all the time. Right now, I do want to mention that through Premium Edition Games and partnered with Video Games Plus, we have a very big giveaway going on right now. So if you haven't entered yet, you won't want to miss this one. We are giving away one of 3 prizes. So the grand prize will get a Nintendo Switch Animal Crossing console. It's the Japanese version, but fully playable. You could plug it into the US ports, UK ports at home. It plays all the games. So honestly, aside from the packaging on the outside, it's a worldwide system. We're also going to be giving away a copy of Super Blood Hockey when it releases. And then Video Games Plus is throwing in Tokyo School Life, which was a exclusive game that they sold and still have available on their website. 2 runner-ups will get a copy of Super Blood Hockey and Tokyo School Life. The giveaway goes until September 22nd, but if you go to Premium Edition and then the number 1 on Twitter, or you go Premium Edition Games on Facebook or Instagram, you can enter the giveaway now. You don't want to miss it. It's a good one. And of course, please pre-order and secure your copy of Super Blood Hockey if you haven't already.
Well, thanks everyone. We will see you next week when we will be talking about Super Mario World, which we're going to play on the Nintendo Switch Online Super Nintendo app. And we will see you next week.
Bye.